sit it right about too. It's kind of weird.
I'll call this meeting of the Blackhawk County Board of Supervisors to order. Roll call, please, Mr. Jameson.
Hall. Here. Leyland.
Here.
Little.
Here.
Trelka. Here. Schwartz.
Here. Please join us for a moment of silence to reflect on today's actions. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I'll first entertain a motion on the agenda received as proposed or amended.
So moved.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, the agenda is approved. Next is public comments. If there's anybody in the boardroom or on Zoom that wishes to make a public comment on something that's not an agenda item, please do so at this time. All right, hearing none, we will move on to the Years of Service Award to employees with 20 or more years of service.
Yes, we have one employee today with 20 years of service from the County Attorney's Office, Kathleen Hahn.
Congratulations, Kathleen.
Is all?
And you're welcome to say a few words if you'd like.
Well, all I would say is, this will be my last award because on August 30th, I'm retiring.
Well, congratulations.
I became a magistrate here in 1993. I've been here ever since then in this lovely building and 20 years down in my great office at the county attorney's office. So time for a new adventure, and I'll let you know what Plan B is.
Well, congratulations. And thank you for your dedication to the people of Blackhawk County. All right, next we'll move on to claims and payments. This is a resolution that the Board of Supervisors approve expenditures and that the county auditor be authorized and directed to issue payments against the various settlement of such claims as allowed.
So moved. Second.
Been moved and seconded. Michelle?
Good morning, Board. Our total claims today are $1,747,000, $149, and 96 cents. That's 1747149.96. And the 60/40 fund will look different than the printout that was sent out on Friday. That amount will be $2,781.13. There's a payment on there for projectors for the range that exceeds the policy, so the sheriff wants to pay that out of his regular budget instead. So we made that correction. Because it's the first of the year, we have a few large payments. We're paying for our annual Tyler software technology maintenance, $91,190.06. Let's see here. There's a few others. We also are paying most of our FY25 liability insurance premium, which is about, as soon as I get there, $799,372 that we're paying today. There's a payment to Envision for Pinecrest renovation and design, $39,333.50. One to Origin for $26,284.50. And let's see, Vogel Traffic Services, we're paying for FY24 pavement marking project. That payment is $179,679.36. We are making a down payment on the mobile health clinic of $165,518. And we also are able to make a partial payment on to Crystal Heating and Plumbing on the Conservation Administrative Office HVAC, $55,874. So it's fun to see ARPA projects moving along and a lot going on right now. Everything appears to be in order. Are there any questions?
Okay, any questions, Board?
Can you speak, I guess, to that 60/40 adjustment a little bit more? there was an expenditure that was going to come out of there, but then it
Right,
It moved.
because the policy that the board passed in December of '22, I believe, requires that if they're going to spend more than $5,000 on improvements, which I believe this would qualify for, that should come before you for approval separately from paying the invoice. So I did suggest we do that, but he thought he would just take it out of his operating budget. So I guess that would be at your pleasure, what you would like to do about that. It's for 3 projectors. It says laser projectors. I can't really tell you what they do. I think it's probably something to do with the targets at the range, maybe.
All right. Board, any other questions? All right, hearing none, roll call, please, Mr. Jameson.
Hall,
yes.
Leyland,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Trelka,
Yes.
Schwartz.
Yes, the resolution is approved. Next, we will receive project updates from department heads and elected officials.
Good morning, Board. Kathy Nicholas, engineer. Just a brief update on our contract work. We did have some bridge painting on Dunkerton Road over the Wapsipinicon River that was a carryover from last year. That's kind of been on again, off again, just due to the high water levels on that bridge. We reopened the road yesterday because the bridge painting contractor is not able to get underneath the bridge right now to work just due to the high water levels. So we apologize to the people that live out there. It's just been open and closing on that portion of road for several weeks now. So hopefully the water level goes down soon and the contractor is able to get that bridge painted, the underside of it. On the other side of Dunkerton Road, or more in the mid portion of the county, that recent resurfacing project, that contractor is still working on placing the shoulder rock. Hopefully they will have that done by the end of this week, and we can reopen that portion of roadway. Other than that, staff are out mowing on the paved road, the gravel roads, placing mile rock, spraying for weeds, doing all sorts of other routine summer activities, and replacing some large pipes down on Tama Road. Can I answer any questions at this time? Thank you.
Thank you. All right, any other department heads or elected officials?
Good morning, Board. Roy Giving, Facilities Director. Just wanted to let you know that we have officially taken possession of the former EPI building over on north of the Pinecrest facility. So we do have the keys for that facility. We also have, even though officially we've taken possession of the former Raymount building, the tenants now have moved out. That building is empty. We did a walkthrough, and we have the keys to that as well. So moving forward, we'll be working on RFPs. We've already got one in place for the electrical upgrade for the former Raymount building, which I guess we need to come up with a name for that building. And we'll be working with our architects on the former EPI building. So just wanted to let you know.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Board. Mike Hendrickson, Director of Blackhawk County Conservation. A few quick updates. Parks first. We only have 2 parks closed at this time, Blackhawk Park and Seagull Cove Park. Seagull Cove, as of Friday, just had some water on the back roads. We still don't like to open up when there's water on the roads, so that should be opening up this week. Then Blackhawk Park, we are just waiting for that river to go down. It's dropping very, very slowly. There will be some cleanup in there, going to be a little more damage this time, but maybe early next week we could have that back open for day use. Maybe not camping yet, but for day use. But we did at least get, Big Woods was open for the holiday. McFarland Park was open for the holiday, and Hickory Hills, of course. So we had 3 parks running, and they were very full and busy, and that was really good. Casey Lake contractor's back from South Dakota. He's got his disasters taken care of up there, and he's back to work at Casey Lake, so that's moving forward. Again, Cedar Valley Nature Trail. They have started paving on that. They're dodging a lot of rainstorms like everybody else, so it's going slow. But the general layout of what they're doing is they have a crew starting at Bear Creek, which is the line. That's where we meet Lynn County, and they are moving north. They've started another crew about 2 to 2.5 miles ahead of them near the Brandon area, and that crew is moving, it wouldn't be west, but they're moving north to me. But so they're going to continue with those two crews, and they'll basically hopscotch each other as they go. They're doing a lot of driveway pavings right now that have to be laid a little bit thicker than the original trail. So they're catching those and getting some of that done. But at some point, they'll really be able to make some good headway with all that. So they're moving forward. Yesterday, we did open bids on the McFarland Park septic system, which is an ARPA project. We're reviewing those bids, and we will work towards getting under contract with that. And once we're under contract with that, I believe Conservation has all of their projects moving. So,
Excellent. Thank you.
thank you.
That's good, thank you.
All right, any other department heads or elected officials wish to provide an update this morning? All right, moving on.
This is Yolando.
Yes, go ahead.
Blackhawk County Veterans Affairs. If you don't mind, I'd like to just go over a brief couple of slides for our end of the year report. Can you see that, sir?
Yes.
All right, so just touching base on our end of the year, we had our meeting with our board of with our commission, and I just wanted to share a few of them with you. In particular, we got a chance to take part in the Quote of Honor ceremony, and Commissioner Willaba was one who was honored, and also Mary Coram was honored, along with General was also one of the recipients of the Quote of Honor just recently. Tomorrow we'll be help tabling a Vet Fest at Grout Museum. It's the Iowa City Hospital is actually putting this on, and they asked us to join in that, and we'll be participating, in particular from 4 to 7 in the evening, in that standpoint. For our June lunches, just our sponsors that we're thankful, with the UAW 838, John Deere's Merg, and Corinthian Baptist Church were our sponsors for our lunches in June, in that standpoint. We're still averaging right around about $180,000 in retro pay. Again, it's taken about 5 to 6 months for each claim that we submit to get processed based off of the amount that the VA is just receiving since the PACT Act has been in place. And so what it does is it creates retro pay, and this is just cumulative numbers based off of the awards that were awarded in the month of June. So that's federal dollars going to veterans and their spouses. And then for our end of the quarter, fourth quarter, these are lines of engagements, how we rate ourselves. We're green in almost every category as far as outreach, other than we were a little bit down on our scheduled van rides in that standpoint. So we noted that as a yellow. We're green here in all of our benefits areas as we close out the fourth quarter. In that standpoint, there's nothing that particular stands out. And again, I'll be sharing these slides. Just want to briefly go over them. And then with our administration and budgeting, we're green in that area too. We got a new commissioner, and we're going to get him scheduled to get that commissioner training. So we have 4 or 5 commissioners who have completed the required training. He'll go in October. One slide that I wanted to share, when I look at the 5-year comparison, I've been in this job about 5 years now, looking at our throughput and our production, you can see those numbers there, but in particular, just when we look at our last year, FY24, initial veterans coming in about 11,000 veterans. What I'm happy about is the new veterans, we're still making it consistent with about 1,900, almost 2,000 new veterans coming in that standpoint. And then we're looking at also our Vietnam era veterans. We had about 4,500 of those Vietnam veterans come in, with their total being 1,891 for that fiscal year. We were a little lower than 23, but we were higher than 22 in that standpoint. The other thing I kind of wanted to share down in green, the 207, that's we've seen 207 veterans outside the county of Black Hawk County. And one thing that we have noted in red, as we continue to encourage, but we're seeing that the decline on our World War II veterans based off of age. And then the other one was our trust funds. We have been utilizing trust funds to doing a good job, and our trust fund coordinator Stacy has been doing that, and I'll show another slide there. One last thing is the van rides, they have also picked up, and 241 total for the year in that standpoint. Again, this is just our standard slide through May, what the state is reporting, what we're doing based off of population, based off of veterans receiving benefits, and then the total amount expenditures that they pay each month, just in compensation and disability. Our end of the year, with our June donations and revenue summary, you can see that we took in $846 in donations, and kind of like where we're at in our fund balance as we look to do more going into FY25 to reduce that balance. And then how we closed out, you can see our balances in the different areas that the county allows us to help veterans in particular. Again, very low in percentages used, and I really look at that as a positive thing in the standpoint of what we're really doing to support our veterans in the standpoint of critically utilizing the resources that the taxpayers give us and making sure that we're utilizing them in the best efficient way going forward. Then lastly, what we do for veterans, in the month of June, you can see we spent about $2,600 helping veterans in various things, whether it's rent, utilities, one cremation. And then with the Iowa Trust Fund disbursements, they paid Black Hawk County almost $12,000 to help veterans within Black Hawk County get home repairs, and then almost $900 in auto repairs. So in short, just kind of like just a synopsis of our year-end report, and I just wanted to share that going forward. And just standing by to address any questions or concerns.
All right. Thank you, Yolanda. All right. Any other department heads or elected officials? Just to provide an update. All right. Hearing none, we'll move on to the minutes approved from the July 2nd, 2024 meeting.
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. The minutes are approved. Next, we'll move on to the consent agenda. This will be approved with a single resolution.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, roll call, please. Mr. Jameson.
Leyland,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Trelka,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Schwartz.
Yes, resolution is approved. We'll now move on to contracts and agreements. This is a resolution that the amended 5-year contract between Blackhawk County and the Cedar Bend Humane Society, effective July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2029 for basic animal care services at the rate of $28,000 per year, $2,333.33 per month for the unincorporated areas of Blackhawk County, be approved and direct the chair to sign for the same and to receive and place on file a certificate of insurance with the county auditor.
So moved.
Second.
It moved and seconded. Any discussion or updates or
Any questions?
Yeah, I think we're all good. Okay. All right. Hearing, this is a resolution. Roll call, please, Mr. Jameson.
Little,
Abstain.
Trelka,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Leyland,
Yes.
Schwartz.
Yes, the resolution is approved. We'll now move on to other business. This is a resolution to approve the IRS Form 720 to remit payment of $2,028 for the county's Patient-Centered Outcomes Research Institute, PCORI, fee for the 2022-2023 plan year, as required by the Affordable Care Act, be approved and direct the chair to sign for the same, as recommended by Tim Jameson, Systems Real Estate Tax Manager, and Stacy Wanderschneid, Perspectives Consulting Partners, LLC.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, this is a resolution. Roll call, please, Mr. Jameson.
Trelka,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Leyland,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Schwartz.
Yes, the resolution is approved. Next is resolution that the lowest responsible bid received from Boulder Contracting, LLC, Grundy Center, Iowa, for project LFM-3032-7X-07, bridge repairs in various locations in Blackhawk County, with a total bid of $172,486. The estimate was $421,000. $225, be awarded and direct the chair to sign the resolution authorizing county engineer to sign the contract and to receive and place on file the contractor's bond and certificate of insurance as recommended by Catherine Nicholas, county engineer.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Kathy?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that, as you recall, last week we did open bids here in the boardroom. We did receive 5 bids of varying ranges. We've never done this type of work before. We're not quite sure what, we relied on DOT estimate numbers to put our engineer's estimate together, so that's why it's so high. We have also heard that bridge contractors in particular are looking for work, so I think this was really good for Blackhawk County. We did get the bid from Boulder is lower than the other ones by far, so I would recommend that you take this bid and we'd be allowed to sign the contract. And again, this work will take place throughout the fiscal year. It's 5 separate bridges. We prefer that they're not going to all be done at once, which will be better for the citizens of Blackhawk County to not have miscellaneous roads closed all at the same time. So I recommend that you take the bid from Boulder.
Where was this budgeted? Were these sort of the state restricted funds, or where?
I believe these were out of the local option sales tax portion of our funding.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, board, any other discussion or questions? Hearing none, this is a resolution. Roll call, please. Mr. Jameson.
Hall,
Yes.
Leyland,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Trelka,
Yes.
Schwartz.
Yes, the resolution is approved. Item C, this is a resolution that the lowest responsible bid received from Marco Technologies, LLC of Waterloo, Iowa, for upgrades to Supervisors boardroom audio visual system at Blackhawk County Courthouse, 316 East 5th Street, Waterloo, Iowa, with a bid of $71,463.14. Estimate was at $75,000. Be awarded for the chair, and for the chair to sign the contract conditional on the receipt of certificate of insurance as recommended by Roy Giving, Facilities Director.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion or any comments, Roy?
Yes, I want to make a correction to the dollar amount. The dollar amount was actually $73,797.43. And the reason for that, as we reviewed this proposal, we did discover there was one piece of equipment that was missing. So we did ask Marco to go back and price that, and that was actually just delivered to us this morning. So if we could reflect that new price, that would be greatly appreciated.
All right, is that agreeable to the folks who made the motion?
What was?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. What was the piece of equipment?
It was for a multi-view streaming device to help us get improved video production flexibility, give us the ability to have multi-view when we're recording. And that was something that
What was the cost of that, Rory?
for that one piece of equipment.
Yeah.
That came in at $2,334.29.
Thank you.
And we don't have that currently, so that
No,
this is something.
This
that
is
we
something
do
new,
that.
yeah. And then, just to kind of go through this so you have a better understanding of what to expect throughout this project. Some of the things we looked at was enhancing the video quality. So there would be 4K cameras included in this project. Another big item was stabilizing the zooming performance capabilities. So we anticipate that to be a big part of this. Again, improving video production, flexibility. As the system sits right now, it's more of a turn on and turn off type situation. This is going to give us a little bit more flexibility when doing that recording piece. We are actually looking at replacing the mic system with a room-wide mic system, so the individual mics will go away. Our monitors, TV monitors, will remain. We actually have a number of pieces that will remain, which worked in our favor as far as cost-wise goes. But yeah, those are some of the enhancements that we're looking at achieving with this project.
When you mentioned stabilizing Zoom capability, is that the loss of Zoom?
Yeah, throughout the process, as you know, we've had disconnects, freezing, just the ability to bring Zoom up rather than having two locations like L over here and then the production room. Everything will be able to be taken place within the production room. So that is one feature that we're really looking forward. So we're not having to have dual actions by employees.
And is that function possible not just in Zoom, but also in
I'm going to let
Teams, for instance?
I'll answer that one.
Correct.
Don't necessarily need the Zoom.
We're just using Zoom as a verb here, but yes, Teams, any platform is capable on this one. So that, by the way, that encoder, what that does is it splits our video from 2 feeds to 4. It has the ability to capture 4 at the same time. Our current recordings only capture 2 feeds, which is this picture, you guys, and this picture, plus the Zoom feed. So now we have the ability to focus on the Zoom feed, focus on the Board of Supervisors, and focus on the person on the podium. And then that extra 4th feed for whatever we want to do. So
We'll do it with the crowd, so we can see Mike roll his eyes.
So this is going to make for some must-see TV.
Yeah.
I just want to note, too, that unfortunately, what we see on TV, that video, even though it's high quality from us, when that's taken over to the city and it's actually degraded in order to be able to be placed on TV. So we don't expect the quality on TV, unfortunately, until their system upgrades. We don't see improvement, or don't expect to see improvement on that. But we should see some improvement on our YouTube.
Will that all be ceiling mount, or how does that?
The cameras, yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And the mic system. The mic system will be it'll be a room-wide mic system in the ceiling.
Then is there anywhere else in our facilities that some of the old equipment can be utilized or would be useful?
It's possible, maybe some of the cameras. We haven't really dove down that path yet, but there might be some possibilities for the old camera system.
Right, I could see like maybe the IT conference room or something. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
But this said, I don't know. Right.
What's the install timeline?
That's a very good question. Don't think we outlined that.
we're giving them a week.
Okay.
They get to start
Well-
right after a Tuesday.
Once
that
that
was
contract's signed and the equipment comes in, that's absolutely right. Right after the board meeting on Tuesday, they're going to get going. Fortunately, in 2017, when we did this upgrade that we have now, much of the construction type of work has already taken place. For an example, the core drillings in the floor to be able to run those wire paths. So that's going to really help us with this project. About 40% of this cost is labor. So this is somewhat labor intensive, but yeah. Any other questions?
All right, board, any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, this is a resolution. Roll call, please, Mr. Jameson.
Leyland,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Trelka,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Schwartz.
Yes, the resolution is approved. Next is item D. This is a resolution that the amendment to the minutes of the Board of Supervisors meeting on April 18th, 2024 be corrected to reflect $151,519.81 is approved for the sheriff's salary for fiscal year 25.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, this is a resolution. Roll call, please, Mr. Jameson.
Little,
Yes.
Trelka,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Leyland,
Yes.
Schwartz.
Yes, the resolution is approved. Item E, this is a motion to approve the fiscal year 25 ICAP member proxy form listing. Michelle Weiner and Lori Wormers as member liaisons and direct the chair to sign for the same.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, this is a motion. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Item F, this is a motion that the appointment of Steve Robisky as representative for the Blackhawk County Planning and Zoning Commission be approved with a term expiration date of June 30th, 2029.
So moved.
Second.
Did you want to comment? We both
It was a
interviewed.
good interview, and he's going to be a good fit.
Yeah, yeah. He had an extensive background. He's retired from John Deere, and he had experience, too, with the P&Z in his personal life. So he said he'd had questions when that had happened, and so he thought this was something he could add value to as well, and look forward to it.
Okay. All right. Any further discussion or questions? This is a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next, we'll move on to item G. This is discussion, possible board action, approve a rate of $27 per month for the Washburn sanitary sewer system rate, an increase of $6 per month, effective with the November 2024 billing cycle, and an increase of $4 per month to a total fee of $31 per month, effective with the November 2025 billing cycle. All right.
Chris, I've got a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
When will or have we already sent out the notice to the people so they're made aware of this?
We have not notified them yet because we are not sure whether you're going to approve it or not. We do have a draft of a postcard ready and a mailing list ready, and we will send that to the printer this afternoon, assuming that you approve it as is. If you choose to do something else, it might take, might have to come back and finish that.
Should we possibly approve the flyer first, send it out, and then the following week do the approval? Because I honestly believe we need to increase it because it's been a while and the operation cost has gone up. But I really struggle with approving today due to the fact that they're going to watch a rebroadcast today or see the minutes a few days from now. And people are kind of funny that they like to be notified when there's going to be a raise. And I know other utility companies usually do that in plenty of time. So I think we kind of got this backwards doing it this way. I support the increase, but I can't support approving it today.
So if that's the board's wish, that's fine. I just need to know what we would put in the postcard. What would the board approve today for us to mail out?
Well, could we see a draft so we know?
We got the
We
draft.
did provide a draft last week.
There was a postcard draft, I guess. Yeah, I was concerned, I guess, as far as notifying anybody, I think, with a postcard. That was just my own personal preference, that I know just some of the things that I do get notified of increases. There's a little more explanation than this, but I guess our discussion today, I was kind of curious about the fact that the postcard only does the initial cost, correct, Michelle? Kind of you're thinking to address the
We would put
balance.
both on if you approve this motion as it's stated here, we'll change the postcard to reflect that. We intend for the postcard to approve what you're requesting or what you're approving.
Sure, yeah,
So-
I know. I guess I'm thinking from the user or the resident standpoint. I guess we're thinking though of, here's the initial increases we haven't done since 2008. So it was like, there's going to be one in 24, there's going to be one in 25. Then based on the information that I think we're going to look at ACOM and seeing what comes from that, most likely there will be additional increases after that.
I think that's unknown yet because we do have funding set aside for projects that you already approved back in 2022 for funding some projects, and it will depend on, as they evaluate it, how much is needed. And we have a project that's currently underway for about $440,000 that will be done at no cost for the residents.
Which they're
And
probably
there's-
totally unaware of, though.
Probably, which is why it is mentioned in small print, but it is
I
on the
know.
postcard.
No, I saw you had it on the
Because we
postcard.
did want them to be aware that they are very fortunate compared to many sewer systems right now to be able to have that. And Shoot, just lost the tail end of that thought, but.
And how much?
Oh, there's another 300,000. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you, Chris. That was exactly what I wanted to talk about. There is another 300,000 that you have already approved for projects. And there are some other projects on the list that do have kind of your preliminary approval. So it will just depend on the engineer's evaluation. And you'll obviously be able to approve or disapprove each project as it comes back. And if other things are needed, we can also, may have to consider additional rate increases. It's just difficult to predict right now beyond the 2 years what costs may change or what may need to be changed at that time.
Do we have an initial timeline for the AECom?
We're still working on revising the contract. I hope we can get that contract to you next Tuesday would be the plan, if everybody's schedule works out. And they would hope then to be back to us by September, is the plan. So they're well aware of our wanting to move ahead with these in calendar 2024. So yes, I anticipate that will be soon.
All right. And sir, do you want to go ahead and state your name and address?
Mike Mush, 303 First Street in Washburn. I'm going to agree with Tom Little that we probably need an increase in the fees because of the timeline and costs. My problem is, how do we control our costs so that we don't have to have all these increases? I mean, we have a contract with somebody to take care of the system. We pay them just shy of $500 a week just to be on call. Now that's doing nothing, just to be on call. And then when he goes out to do any work, let's say we have a pump that goes bad and he has to go out and replace that pump or work on that pump. Then we're going to pay him $55 an hour if he's by himself, $95 an hour if he has to have somebody help him to take care of that pump. To me, I think if we're going to pay somebody almost $500 a week, we should get something back for that, not just the fact of being on call. And we're going to pay him to mow, $55 an hour. We're going to pay him to sample and report to the DNR, $55 an hour. We've already agreed to pay him almost $63,000 a year to mow, do testing, pump checks. I guess I don't think that's right. In May of this year, we spent $11,836.65 to Urban Services and Cedar Valley Pump. Okay, Cedar Valley Pump comes into the Board of Supervisors and they give a bill for $8,000. Do we know what we just bought? Do we know what that $8,000 was?
Yes, we get invoices with each pump number listed that we track.
So we're keeping track of, okay, this pump has been repaired 5 times in the last 5 years?
We will have better information with the new control panels because they'll be able to tell how many hours are in a pump. That is apparently a measure of use, and Rory can probably speak to that better than I. But yes, that will be correct.
I just feel that we need to keep the costs down, and right now I don't see with what's going on that we're keeping the costs down. I don't understand how we issued a check May 14th. This is in the minutes, the May 14th minutes. We issued a check to Cedar Valley Pump for $9,856. That was after we'd already spent another $3,000-4,000 in the same month. I just don't understand why the cost is so high. We had, a while back, there was in the Board of Supervisors meetings, somebody suggested that there is a pump in Washburn that has a grease problem. And the Board of Supervisors was asked to have somebody from code to go see why that pump keeps tearing itself up because of the grease. Did that ever get done? Is that still a problem? I mean, there's things like that that we need to address to keep the costs down, but I don't know if all that's getting done. I just, I understand the system wears out, and I understand. I've been up there 42 years. I was there when they put the system in. And it's kind of been a thorn in my side ever since then, the money that we pay to do an upkeep on this. I understand it has to be kept up, but I think we need to keep our costs down. We can keep saying, okay, the cost went up, so we need to raise. Cost went up, we need to raise. But why can't we figure out a way to keep the costs down? And I don't think paying somebody a little less than $500 a week just to be on call, and that's all, and then pay him $55 an hour for when he does do something is a very good idea. So that's all I got to say. I just think that we need to check on how the money's getting spent, and you're right, there's a lot of people in Washburn that don't know anything about what's going on. You have people out there that they're renters, they don't have any idea about the sewer system, how it works, what goes on. So not only do they not understand how it works or what's going on, they have no idea in the cost and what they can do to try to keep the cost down. So I think there's just a lot of information that needs to be sent out, not only the increase in the cost, but you need to do this or that. That's it.
Thank you. All right. What's the board's desire on how to proceed today?
Well, we need to obviously increase it. Advising the citizens is difficult, how we should do it. I wish we could have had more time to discuss this with them today, but I'm willing to vote on it today.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's been talked about since I've been on the board.
Mm-hmm. I was wondering, Michelle, is there something that we could put together that shows like what the balance is of the account and what services or what this would be paying for if we make these increases? Because that's really where we're at right now today, correct? That you're looking at balance that's going to...
I'm not looking at balances. I'm looking at our
services?
current revenue is X and our current expenses are more. So I'm just trying to balance the two because I think that's important.
Well, that's what I mean. You are looking at, though, we don't have funds to continue servicing the needs that are out there right now.
Correct.
So
With the
that
contracts
balance
we
is
have.
important, but here are the needs.
Yep.
Really for the next 2 years or whatever, while we explore, I guess, what other needs could be out there, but to address what's needed to be done immediately.
Yeah, that's true. And yes, I believe we're collecting around $100,000 revenue approximately, and our expenses are projected, it's a budget, right, about 120. So maybe a little more than that. So I'm trying, and we're earning interest right now. They're also benefiting from having interest being earned on the funds that the board transferred to them prior to the ARPA projects being finished, which is why I'm asking for a second rate increase in 25, because I'm expecting, and I want that interest actually to go away because I want the projects to be done. So that is why I'm asking for that, and I thought it might make sense to just do both increases at once. Granted, I can't foresee things that may happen to the system. The system has been very stable, and compared to other systems in the area, is actually very inexpensive. None of us like increases. I don't either. I understand that. But for a sewer system in Iowa to be able to go 16 years with no increase is unheard of. And our rate is much lower than most of the other systems that are this type of system. I'm not even comparing it to Waterloo or Cedar Falls. I'm looking at other lagoon-based systems, and a lot of those don't require the type of pumps. And I know enough about this to be dangerous, so prefacing that with I think I have this right, but I'm not sure. Washburn is in a very low-lying area, so you can't use some of the typical ways that you manage sewer systems. Gravity doesn't really work there, for example. So we have to have something called grinder pumps that actually have to work hard to move the waste to the lagoon. We did do we're trying very hard to spend the money wisely. We did quote buying new pumps instead of having Cedar Valley rebuild them. The cost is about twice. So we could do that. We could buy new pumps. And you know, I don't know how the quality of new pumps is today. One of the things you may be finding in your own lives, so many things that we buy and use on a daily basis, the quality of new stuff is not the same. So if you can rebuild the pumps that we have, which our vendors feel we have had good success with that seems to be a way to keep the cost down for the system. And when we did specifically talk about, should we be exploring using the ARPA dollars to replace all those pumps, but we're not sure that's really an effective use of the funds right now. So we are
Michelle,
trying. Yes.
Michelle, the repairs that you're talking about, is that being paid for with ARPA?
Not to the pumps.
No, all the different repairs you say that we are in the process of doing and going to do, is that ARPA money?
Yes.
What interest are you talking about then? I guess I'm a little confused.
We are allowed to earn interest in the bank on the ARPA money, and it's been one of the pleasant things that's happened in the last few years is we're actually able to earn interest again. There were so many years it was practically zero, but we are able to earn some actual interest revenue on cash in the account. So
okay, but we're not charging that back to Washburn.
we're not charging it. They are getting to keep it. Because the board chose to transfer that cash there in 2022, it's earning interest there. So they are benefiting from that. So we are providing the system with some benefits, and we're doing the best we can, I think, with that.
And we're making, over $700,000 of investments from
Correct.
from money that is not coming from the rate that they pay.
Yes. Which is that's a huge thing. I did some preliminary projections, and the rate to make all those improvements or repairs, whatever term you wish to use, if we were asking the residents to pay for them, they would be looking at a rate of probably $55 a month instead of going up to $27.
Right.
So it's a huge savings to them and benefit.
And that was information we were thinking about sharing at a town hall meeting and that type of thing where people were invited and could
Yes,
hear
and
or understand.
Yes, but because of feeling that we need better project estimates and evaluation, I think I'll say, of the projects we're going to do, we felt that needs to wait until we get an engineer hired and they perform that preliminary work. And that will be several months. So that's why in the interest of allowing the citizens time to prepare for paying an increased rate, that's why I'm asking you to move ahead with the $27 at least now, that you do not need to do the second step. I mean, you don't even need to do the first step, but I'm just trying to provide you with options right now.
So in the event that AECOM study comes back in September and says X amount needs to be added to the list, would we then change that $4 per month starting 11/25, or would we push that back to 11/26?
I would expect that to be at least 2026
Okay.
because my preliminary thought, is that we would be using the results of that study to commit funds that we've already set aside from ARPA to do other projects. And you can't do everything at once. So I would I would, barring unforeseen things, right? We're currently having a lot of high water, but according to Urban Services, I don't believe we've had flooding in Washburn, knocking on wood. So that's good for our system, right? As long as we don't have unforeseen things like that, I today do not forecast that we would need a higher rate than the $4 in 2025. But a lot can happen between now and then. That's a year and a half away.
So the $6 per month per household that we do in '24, though, would take us to another year.
Yep.
Approximately.
Yes.
Where we could possibly know from ACON's report or whatever, some of these
Correct.
things that we need to get people
Yep.
together to have this town hall meeting or whatever.
Absolutely.
To explain some of this, because that's my concern,
that-
is they don't have that.
Right, and we would have time at that point, I believe, and I have not directly discussed this with the waterworks at this time, but I think we could work on a mailer that could go in their bills. It's all a matter of preference. I thought it might get more attention to send a separate mailing, and we felt like we got the salient facts on the postcard, but if there's more we want to share, we can make it a letter. That just is more expensive, right, to print and mail.
Sure.
And then we could do at some point a mailer in the bills and have town hall meetings, whatever the board chooses to do.
Yeah, I mean, the mailers get brushed over, the postcards get brushed over real easy. And I do think that, yes, we would go into a town hall with a lot more information, but we do know now that we are expending X amount of ARPA dollars, that I think is in everyone's best interest to have that understanding on the front end versus, oh, well, maybe, I'll get this postcard, maybe I'll read it, maybe I won't. Then I'll get a bill that's increased, and in that it'll have an invite to a town hall, and then I can hear all the improvements that the county is doing utilizing ARPA dollars. I guess my preference is probably to include, even if it's at a minimum, like a QR code that sends folks to an FAQ that does outline the data that we do have now. I think there's a little bit of a case that we can make as to what we're doing within the system today, while leaving the door open that this AECOM study is going to come, that there is potential for additional increase. I'm comfortable at $6 and $4 over the next 2 years. But I think we need to just be a little bit more communicative about what we're doing ahead of time, or what we're doing currently on behalf of the system and those citizens.
So before sending this, put together that FAQ or whatever it is.
Yeah, I'd prefer to have the FAQ, and we can include a very simple QR on this postcard that outlines the commitments that we've made to the system thus far.
So do we want to see that in writing before we approve something, or how do we want to approve the increase now and then look at the card later, or wait until we get the improvements in the FAQ?
Do we have is there I know we've got effective 11/24. Do we have a timeline, or is there a calendar justification for why it needs to happen this week versus next week or the following?
No, there isn't.
Okay.
We just,
We need to get
have
there.
it ready to go.
Yep.
And I'm still puzzling in my own mind. If you are not going to pass the increase prior, I don't think this postcard should go out until something is passed. Now, we can change that and say you're considering a rate increase that will be passed in the future if you want to do the mailer before you approve it. I think that would be an important distinction. This formatting is based on the assumption that you have approved an increase, and I can put it on the screen if you would like to see it for a moment. At least I think I can.
Well, and I'm not sure everyone reading proposed monthly increase understands
That
it's
that's-
proposed, that means you're going to get it.
Correct. That, to me, that actually says.
Proposed. Yeah, we're
it's-
thinking about it.
It's a concept. It doesn't
I
say
can't
that.
afford
Yeah,
it.
me too.
No, I'm not doing that.
The reason we decided to do it in the water bill was, like Tavis said, you get a postcard, you may throw it in the garbage. You get your water bill, you are going to open it. And that's why we put a flyer in the water bill the last time that we wanted to notify them, which was in regards to the inspection of the pumps.
When is the next water bill?
But in regards to, I think Michelle's saying it was a savings to them because we used ARPA. That's true with any ARPA project that we've done, whether it be the health department, the sheriff, or the conservation, is we didn't use, quote, local tax dollars. We used ARPA, which was a savings to everybody else also. Now, one of the guidelines for ARPA, when we had this discussion on Washburn Sewer, I was originally against using ARPA, but the argument was that was one of the conditions, public safety, health, and then also the improvement of sewer systems. So that's the reason why that got passed at that time.
Is there anything else that goes in with the bill too? Sometimes that's, if there's several things that get included, then it does get.
One of those value package.
Yeah.
yeah.
But I don't know. Is it just the bill that we know? I don't know.
I don't, not in Washburn, so I'm not sure what that looks like.
And I was
going to say, you probably, is it just the bill that comes to you?
I get a bill from Waterloo Water Works.
Okay.
It has listed my water usage, so much of however it's measured, and then it has sewer fee, maintenance fee. It's separate on the bill, and you can see everything that's in there.
Yeah.
So, and you're right, a postcard either gets lost or whatever happens to it. A lot of the problem with out there is you have a lot of renters, and a lot of renters, they don't pay the bill, but they don't understand how the system works, what you can and what you can't do. So you send out a bill in the water bill, or send out the water bill. A tenant might get it, but nobody else knows what's going on as far as the system and things like that. There's been times when Washburn has a community page, and there's been times when a lights come on, and there's grinder pumps through the town. There's 4 houses or 2 houses hooked to the grinder pump, depends on where they're located in the system. There's a red light on the top that if something happens inside the pump, the grinder pumps, this red light comes on. When the red light comes on, you're supposed to call Urban Services. They're supposed to come out and take a look at it. Washburn has a community page where people have been on there trying to contact Urban Services when that light's been on and cannot contact them. A lot of people don't know, they'll put on a thing, I got a red light on my box, what's that mean? So there's a lot of things out there that people out there don't know how it works and what's going on. Kitty corner across from me is a rental property. Last fall, there's a guy out there, look, the pumps have lids on them that you can unscrew and take the lid off. He was out there monkeying with this lid. I walked out there and who are you? He owned the house that was kitty corner across. He had no idea, he'd owned it for like 3 years. He had no idea what the sewer had backed up and they were backing up into their bathtub. So he was trying to figure out how to get this system fixed. He had no idea about Urban Services, the phone number to call, anything. I gave him that number. All day long he tried to get a hold of him, get that system get that problem taken care of. Never did. He ended up calling Orkin or some other company to come out, and they ran an auger all the way down through, and it was plugged right where the line went into the pump housing, which is something that Urban Services was supposed to take care of. Couldn't get a hold of him.
Well, okay, so if we need to have an educational meeting or something, we can work on that. I know Ben has done some wonderful videos, and I don't know if maybe they're not getting posted to that community site. There was a day when I literally thought it was only one day that the phone number wasn't working. But as far as I know, it is working. And I believe there are stickers on the pump housings or somewhere out there that tells people what number to call. But yes, you have to look. And I do not know how to help you with an owner of a property versus a tenant. There's just issues with us having that information, or the waterworks having that information. That's just not how things work necessarily.
So these notices were just going, though, to the tenants, to the people?
They will
that
go
get
to
address.
the billing address on file. In general, I've spent a lot of time combing through that list the last few days. I would guess they are mostly tenants. There are a few that are clearly the landlord. So that all depends on the arrangement the landlord has with the tenant. So, yeah, it does. And yes, even when you buy a home in town, that's always an issue. How do you do things with your sewer or water or things? And that seems to be something that it's folklore. So it would be good to provide some education for people about that. I would agree.
Do we know when the next bill goes
Meters
out?
are read, or planned to be read August 28th, so they'll go out shortly after that.
Okay.
The next time, if you want to go that route instead of, when we started this, there was wanting to give more notice, but we don't have to. We can wait, if you prefer to. Because, and honestly, I don't know, I have not checked into the pricing to insert a flyer. That's a different level of, because POS has to do that for the waterworks, so there'll be there's fees with that too.
Sure.
But, yeah, either way, anything that we do, if we're going to send anything through the mail, that will cost the system some money. It's not that it's not worth it. You just have to remember that. So.
All right. So, what actions are the board ready to take today? We want.
The FAQ probably needs to be done. We need to know it's something that we're inserting, I guess, in, if it explains to the individuals that do read it, that we've made the effort at least to try to address some of these questions. I guess from my standpoint, that's just more information. I know that we're trying to provide other than today's.
Yeah, a late August, early September mailing
Should be.
probably feels a little tight.
Yeah,
That
for the increase.
for the increase. That said, I'd probably err on the side of giving as much information as we can. If we insert it into that mailing, into that bill mailing, and did the increase effective January of 25, or I guess
Well,
it would be
it does-
February of, I don't know how that.
To make it work,
Yeah.
you want it to start like the day after they do a meter reading. So,
Okay.
and they don't have it scheduled that far out, but August 28th, I just am assuming, guesstimating, the next one will be the end of November. The next one following that is not going to be till the end of February.
Got it.
So I would prefer not to have to wait that long, but if that's what the board chooses to do, we will.
But if we went, so let's say, so that you said end of November, so could we still make that date effective? January 1, the rate effective is the rate.
I want to
effective-
have the
date
rate effective on the
for the full cycle.
day following the meter read date. I'm not going to say it's impossible, but it would be extremely difficult for waterworks to be splitting rates on certain dates. So the way that their billing system works, in my past experience, you want your rate to be effective with the date that bills are read. So that's why I'm picking November, because I know the bill reading's going to come late November, early December. So what I want is that reading date, we'll just have the new rate will be in the system as of that date. People won't pay it, probably, well, they get a few days to pay it. But yeah, I think if you want to wait and put a mailer in the August read date billing, the billing's not going to go out till sometime in September. We're kind of then back to not giving a lot of advance notice for the rate increase. That's why that's the sole reason I was
Wanted to do a separate.
that we thought we would do it now in a separate mailing. You know, and we could do a letter, I suspect,
We're looking at, what, 300 address,
about 400.
400.
Yeah, a letter would only cost slightly more, I mean.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
I didn't check into that. We'd have to ask Gabby. I mean, the postage is obviously more, and you know, but it can be done whatever you want to do.
We're probably looking at 75 cents per address.
Right. Right.
Right, so we're talking even high end, $400 for that mailing.
Well, that's what we were expecting with postcard. So letter, something north of that.
All right. So are folks wanting to have that letter go out before we vote on an increase, or we vote on the increase in advance? That's going to determine how the letter's worded, obviously.
Right. Yeah.
We're going to have to do the increase,
Yeah.
whether we, right, I mean, the system can't support itself
Yep.
in its current state. So that point is probably is what it is. I do think, by providing some insights into the additional investments is worthwhile, but
Yeah, I was trying to think if we send the mailer first, knowing that that's coming, does that provide them the opportunity to come here and speak? Or
Right.
at least to voice their thoughts,
Yep.
opinions before taking action?
yeah. Yeah.
As much as we can, anyway.
So we express that as intent. I mean, I don't know how you communicate,
No.
but
Yeah. If you want us to send the postcard first. Yeah. And actually, it does say proposed, but I was preferring to know we were going to do it. I didn't want to alarm people if you're not interested in it. So.
well, I can speak for myself that I'm generally supportive of the $6 increase, most likely the $4 increase the following year, just for you to have
That's
some peace
helpful.
of mind.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I think we.
Yes. And I'm also
It's
supportive
needed.
of the increases.
I think we know it's justified, it's needed in that sense. It's not like we have a choice to
Mm-hmm.
really say, no, we're not going to, but we're trying to give them as much information as possible beforehand to allow planning or whatever for budgets.
I think it sounds like everyone on the board understands we do need an increase. The question is, I think it probably would be better, from what I'm hearing from everybody, to provide that opportunity for folks to come. And so maybe we even put the date of the meeting that we'll be voting at the increase in the letter, if folks are.
I think so.
Okay. And
Need a motion to table this action and send out notifications to the residents?
Yeah, do we want maybe include in that motion, just so we keep this ball rolling, the date that meeting would be at, that we would vote on, so that can go into the letter?
Yes, we could, yes. I mean, we definitely want to put that date in the letter. My question now is if you want the letter to come back to the board for review, if you don't approve of what we draft by next Tuesday, I don't know what date that will be.
Right, yeah, I'd like to see the letter.
Okay.
Yeah, I think.
So I think I think maybe your motion today then should be direction to prepare a letter, if you prefer letter to postcard, say letter, that we will bring back to the board, and then we'll set the dates at that time.
Yes.
Yep.
And you might mention, you want to mention the proposed 2-year rates?
Yes.
Okay.
This is not to throw in another but I've gotten fairly cheaply printed little business card size magnets before. Maybe we include that, a refrigerator magnet that has the number for when they what they call for when they need to call for service.
UCC.
That's a good idea. We can
Okay.
certainly,
I think Gabby.
now
can
that we
probably
have
find us
Gabby,
Yeah.
she will be wonderful
Yes.
help with that, so, yeah, we can work on that.
I'll make that motion.
Now you got to repeat that motion.
You got it, Tim?
What motion is that?
To send notification to the residents of Washburn with the proposed rate increases and the dates of board meetings, is that what we want?
Yep, the date, it would include the date that we intend to vote.
Yes.
But that the letter.
Why don't we just put it on the next couple agendas as a discussion item? And if nobody shows up, then the board doesn't have to have much discussion. But at least it'll be in the rebroadcast, in the minutes, at least 2 meetings. And then the 3rd meeting or the 4th meeting, we can go ahead and put the resolution on to approve the rate. Along with sending the letter out. That way we've given plenty notice to the people. Same thing we've done in the past, whether it be in Washburn or the rural area when we were changing something there.
We can certainly encourage them to come to any meeting. I mean, if some meetings
Sure.
don't work, they can come anytime.
Sure.
Yeah.
Is this being
You
discussed
bet.
on the community page? This proposed increase?
We did not, from our perspective, Gabby and I have not posted anything yet because we're waiting for direction from you, but we certainly planned to, yes.
The problem with putting it in the minutes is the courier is like 3 weeks behind. If you have a meeting, let's say a Tuesday on the 15th, and you're going to vote on this, I won't know about it probably till, the minutes are way behind when they come out. It's not like you have a meeting today.
Sure.
And the courier comes out by Saturday with the minutes. I might not see today's meeting, I might not see these minutes for 3 weeks. So by the time I get the thing, they already voted on it. I just found out that it was on the agenda.
Yeah,
I think that's why we still do the letter.
Yeah, I think we still.
Yeah, we're gonna send the letter out too, plus the letter, plus, we could even post it for what it's worth on the county website.
This is Gabby. Can I chime in?
That'd be great.
Yeah.
I am a member of the Washburn Community Group. I think there's like 800 people in that Facebook group. So we could certainly post the link to the YouTube recording of this meeting and other meetings where Washburn is discussed, if that's helpful. And then to their point, and we could still do the letter now and then continue to post it in Facebook so that people know when there's some planned discussion, if that's helpful. Along with any education that you feel like residents need, those could be created as Facebook posts as well as handouts or something like that.
So if I might suggest next week, if we can, next week on the 16th, we review the letter that's drafted. And in that letter, we set the meeting as August 6th. That way, by the time the 16th is approved, that mailing probably doesn't hit until the 22nd-ish. That gives folks a full 2 weeks. If the letter isn't approved until Tuesday, it's got to get printed. It's got all those steps have to happen. Within a week is reasonable, and then there's 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks until that supervisors meeting.
I think that sounds like a good timeline to me.
We don't want Tim to report back what you just said. Did he? You got it?
Are you going to make that as part of a motion, or are you just going to wait and vote on that?
I'd throw that out for the amendment. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have a motion to send notification to residents of Washburn with the proposed rate increase and a date of the board meeting for a vote on the increase, which would be August 6th.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I guess I would ask for the information you want to add to the letter. Because if I bring one next week and then you want to add to it, then we're just
I
not
think
gonna
we should
get
have that to Michelle by close of business tomorrow.
Yes.
Yep.
Careful what you ask for. Yeah, okay.
All right, are we ready to vote on this motion? We have a second, correct?
We don't have a second yet.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Essentially, this is to draft a letter that we are sending to the residents of Washburn, informing them of our intent to have a meeting on August 6th to vote on a proposed rate increase. The letter will come back to the board for review next Tuesday for final approval, at which point it will be sent out. And that letter will include some informational stuff about investments that we've made, the need for the increase, demonstrating that the expenses aren't keeping up with, or the income's not keeping up with the expenses. So, everybody clear?
Yes.
That's Bud.
All right. Roll call, please, Mr. Jameson.
It's a motion.
Oh, a motion?
But-
This is a motion. All in favor, say aye.
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 I
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right. Next, any reports or information from the board before our closed session?
have got one question, Chris.
Yeah.
What happened to the Blackhawk County logo that was on the front there below you, the old one?
I
in my
believe we
office.
have it in the board office. Oh, Gabby, go
Gabby,
ahead.
What's the plans on that? I know I had some employees ask.
yeah, I'm just waiting for direction of what the board would like to do with it. If you wanted to put it up to staff, or if somebody, I have no plan for it.
Let's raffle it off.
Did you have thoughts on that, Tom, or you just wanted to know where the
No, I
status
just,
was?
some employees asked on it. I had no idea. Obviously, it was bought with tax dollars, so I don't know how we should either dispose of it or figure out a way of how letting somebody have it. I don't know.
I could see, hanging it even within the board office just as it's still a 100 years from now, it's going to be a historical
Yep.
piece of what, the logo once was in this building.
I agree. It's very attractive in a way. And
Yeah.
Maybe outside the door or something. I don't know, but I agree with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we should display it somewhere still.
In the office, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, any other reports or information from the board? All right, we will next be moving into a closed session. First, this is a resolution that pursuant to the provisions of the Iowa Open Meetings Laws by the authority of the Code of Iowa, Chapter 20.7 or .17.3, the Blackhawk County Board of Supervisors shall proceed into closed session for the following purpose: negotiating sessions, strategy meetings of public employees, mediation, and the deliberative process of attributors or arbitrators, which are exempt from the provisions of Chapter 21.
So moved.
Moved and seconded. This is a resolution. Roll call, please, Mr. Jameson.
Trelka,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Leyland,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Schwartz.
Yes, resolution is approved. We will now move into closed session. So we need folks to exit the room.
I'm not.
And then anyone online too, besides Ann Smisek, Anna Knapp, and your supervisor.
Recording in progress.
Good. All right, this is a motion that the Board of Supervisors meeting in closed session be adjourned.
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. And the motion carries. Closed session is adjourned. I would next entertain a motion on adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? This meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.